In a world that constantly tells us to chase more money, more success, more possessions, how do we find peace in what we already have? Meera was a young marketing professional living in a bustling city. From the outside, her life seemed perfect: a well paying job, a sleek car, and an apartment in a high rise building. But inside, she felt restless. Every day, as she scrolled through social media, she found herself comparing her life to others. Her colleague had a better car, her friend had a bigger house, and an influencer she followed seemed to live a dream life filled with luxury vacations and designer clothes. No matter how much she achieved, Meera felt like she was falling behind. One weekend, after another exhausting week of trying to keep up, Meera decided to visit her grandmother in their ancestral village. Her grandmother, Dadi, lived a simple life in a modest house surrounded by a lush garden. As soon as Meera arrived, she began venting about her frustrations. Dadi, no matter what I do, it's never enough. I work so hard, but someone always has something better. How do you live so peacefully with so little? Dadi smiled and handed Meera a cup of tea. Come, let's take a walk, she said. As they walked through the village, Dadi began to share a story she had learned from her own grandmother. Long ago, she began, there was a wise monk named Kavi. One day, a wealthy merchant visited him, seeking advice. The merchant was frustrated because, despite his immense wealth, he was never content. He always wanted more land, more gold, more recognition. Kavi invited the merchant to join him for tea. He poured tea into a clay bowl, but as he handed it to the merchant, the bowl slipped and broke into two pieces. The tea spilled onto the ground. The merchant grew angry. This bowl was worthless. Why would you use such a fragile thing? Kavi picked up the broken pieces and said, This bowl is no different from the treasures you hoard. You cling to things believing they will make you happy, but when they break or fade, you are left angry and empty. The merchant frowned. So, what should I do? Kavi replied, Instead of chasing what you don't have, cherish what you do. Even a simple clay bowl can bring joy if you let it. And when it breaks, you will find peace in knowing it served its purpose. Meera listened intently as Dadi continued. That story stayed with me. I have learned that comparing yourself to others is like trying to fill a broken bowl. It will never hold anything for long. Instead of chasing after what others have, I focus on the blessings in my life. This garden, the laughter of the children playing nearby, the taste of fresh food. Meera looked around, noticing the simple beauty of the village for the first time. The golden sunlight filtering through the trees, the gentle hum of life all around, and the smile on Dadi's face. That evening, as they sat together under the stars, Meera reflected on her own life. She realized how much time she spent comparing and how little she appreciated the good things she already had: her health, her supportive family, even the achievements she had worked so hard for. When Meera returned to the city, she decided to make small changes. She unfollowed accounts that fueled her jealousy and started a gratitude journal. Every day she wrote down 3 things she was thankful for, no matter how small. At first it felt forced, but over time she began to notice the difference. She found joy in her morning coffee, pride in her work, and contentment in her quiet evenings. One day, a colleague mentioned buying a new luxury car, and instead of feeling jealous, Meera smiled and said, That's wonderful. I'm really happy for you. She realized she didn't need to compare anymore. Meera's grandmother's wisdom and Kavi's story taught her that contentment isn't about what you have. It's about how you see what you have. By focusing on the present and letting go of comparisons, Meera discovered a peace she had been searching for all along. In our fast-paced world, where we are constantly told to aim higher and acquire more, how can you shift your focus to appreciate the simple joys in your life? What small step will you take today to practice contentment?